I don't know if you've heard the story of the prodigal son. It's the one where the son takes the money and runs. He left his father and family behind to chase a life of greater design, big money, fast living, all play, no grind. That was until the day the money ran out like sand in an hourglass. The son went from first class to outcast, couldn't predict the famine in the forecast, fell so low he started craving the food that the pigs had. So he came up with a plan. Return back to dad not as a son but as a slave hand, cause even the slaves had food that would eventually end up in the trash can. So he journeyed back home with his head hung low. There was shame in his veins, so he took his steps slow. But as he approached his family's abode, his father ran toward him with life in his bones. And before the son could even make his case to deny his bloodline and live as a slave, his father embraced him with tears in his eyes and exclaimed, "Let's throw a party because my son is alive." And that's where it ends. Everyone is happy. Father gets son gets compassion. We learn what can happen as a result of our actions. A lesson of forgiveness. It truly is a nice story. But if I'm being honest, the ending never really does it for me. See, what you might not know is that there's a third main character. You've got the father, prodigal son, and his lesser mentioned older brother. See, the older brother doesn't get a lot of attention because his side of the story doesn't turn heads or end in redemption. All he did was stay when his brother left. He wouldn't let that familial debt be the theft of his father's respect. And yet, showing him respect was the last check on his father's checklist. Because while he was busy out working in the fields, his father was busy being restless, letting the worry for his youngest choke him like an ill-fitting necklace until the pain nearly left him necklace. So the day the younger son finally returned to stay and was greeted by his father with a huge bouquet, instead of a slap to the face, you can imagine his older brother had a few words to say. Like, "Father, what have I done to become the lesser loved son? I remained while he betrayed, and yet he's the one who gets a parade?" I guess personally, it's hard to empathize with the prodigal son and keep my feet under me, because honestly, I fit in his brother's shoes a lot more comfortably. I mean, let me get this straight. You go off and spoil your uninherited inheritance, lose it all because you're too blind to your own meritless arrogance, and then when you come crawling back, you're greeted with relentless preeminence. Meanwhile, I've been here for years and don't have so much as a thank you to show for it. Oh, but you want your money now? Go for it. Go blow it on women while living in worldly indulgence. Dad will just forgive you when it's over with anyway. I mean, while you were busy bouncing around towns like a ricochet, I was still at home slaving my life away because I knew my place. So where's my feast? Where's my recognition? According to the doctrine, I've been a good Christian by definition. I go to church on the weekends, read my Bible when it's convenient, say my prayers like I mean it, and in public act decent. I didn't do it because I thought it'd put my name up in lights, but I thought it might put me in the right light in my Father's eyes. Because like I said, I knew my place. But now that place feels like last place because Dad is chasing after you like you're in first place. I feel like I shouldn't have even bothered in the first place. This is my worst case scenario. Worse yet, because now I'm supposed to be happy for you, bro? Wander through the desert just to come back to your riches? No. And my anger supposed to lessen just because you learned your lesson? I don't think so. I'm just so sick of the games, sick of the facade, sick of taking the heat like a lightning rod, sick of the neglect, sick of the fraud, and I'm sick of the time I spend trying to impress God. Now that I say it, it does sound pretty petty, because you can make a pretty penny and still be left feeling plenty empty. I mean, how do you impress the one whose breath crafted earth, the one who sculpted man out of dirt and gave birth to the universe? How can I say I was never the lost when every day I get lost in pursuit of the cross? How can I not rejoice when my brother comes back, when my crimes were equally as evil and my heart equally as black? And most importantly, I don't have to impress God because I already pressed down the nails into his son's right and left arm. Jesus disarmed the sins that I had latched on and carried on for so long so they could no longer do me harm. He pushed past my fence until he passed defenses and my sins themselves became past tense. So no, I may not be the son of prodigy, but the way that I was living makes me feel now like I ought to be. Thank God the old me's buried 6 feet underground, because he said those who were dead are now alive, and those who were lost are now found.